Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite lawyer again. Today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic that is trendy. It trended, something that recently occurred, and the topic is about CAC registration versus trademark registration. Look, we're considering the two types of registrations. Now we'll look at what each of them stands for and the benefits of each of them, and we'll now note why it's important to know the differences, because both of them have their distinct roles that they play. It's not good to ignore one or prioritize the other. So the Corporate Affairs Commission, or for short CAC, is the body that will register all companies. You can just call it the warehouse of all registered entities, whether they be companies or business names or incorporated trustees. CAC is the body that registers and gives them that legal identity. So if you want to make a change in your company or business name or your incorporated trustee, you also have to approach the CAC to file the changes. So that's why they have your accurate database: companies, partnerships, business names, incorporated trustees. So for the purpose of this video, we're considering mostly businesses as companies or business names. Now for trademark registration, so a trademark is a name or a symbol or a logo that specifically distinguishes your business, the trade or the business that you're engaging in. This is the mark of your trade, because it is what distinguishes your trade and gives it the kind of identity it has. So you see that it's different from the CAC registration, because CAC is a database of, like I said, all registered entities. But trademarks now has to do with your identity, your logo. Adidas, for example, or Nike. Adidas has the black stripe. When you see any shoe with those marks, without even coming close to look at it, you just know that from a distance, you just say this is an Adidas shoe. Then once you see the one for Nike, you see the tick. Once you see it, you just, from a distance, you just tell this is Nike. You don't even need to go close to it to look at it, but from that distance, you can tell that is Nike. Same applies to any established business you know. For example, First Bank of Nigeria. Look at their, you know that elephant, and you will know their colors too. So a trademark is a mark that identifies your trade, and it can also be a name, it can be a logo, it can be a symbol. So you cannot have that name Adidas and use a different logo design and say because what is distinct about them is just their design. No, both the name and the design in this case are trademarked by Adidas. So that's why under trademark you have different classes of registrations. So if you're registering it, so you can be trademarking the name, you can be trademarking a symbol, you can be trademarking your logo, and they can also trademark something that is a glitch that is known to you. So if your slogan is popular and you want to also trademark because that slogan is unique to you, so you can also trademark your slogan. So you can see that even though CAC gives you a corporate personality, you can see that for trademark registration is a bit different. That one just protects your brand, it protects your identity, protects what is your unique features. Imagine companies that we have used now as examples: Adidas and Nike. So imagine if somebody just comes up just today and just starts a small business, and the person is using the symbol of Nike or Adidas and produces the same type of shoes that they produce, and then now start selling it to the public. So some people can tell and say, no, this one, I know original Adidas, I know original Nike. Some people may not know. So imagine the unsuspecting public that just wants to buy the original Adidas, but now fall victim and they are buying the fake one that has the same brand as Adidas. So you can imagine how destructive it is when somebody takes your identity. So it's the same type of misrepresentation that happens too, as I talked about earlier, when it has to do with human beings impersonating other human beings. So in this case, somebody's impersonating your business by selling the same products, probably at the same price, and maybe the person that is buying it, buyers don't know that it's not the original one that they are buying. So that's how destructive it can be. And that's why you want to protect your identity. You want to protect your symbol. You want to protect your mark. So based on my explanation, you can see distinct features of CAC registration as opposed to trademark registration. Now we'll look at a live case study which just arose in the last couple of weeks. It happened in July 2025. There's a cake brand that's been operating in Lagos, Nigeria, and the name of the cake brand is Fastest Cakes. Now they have trademarked this name 2021. However, there's another Fastest Cake that's operating in Ibadan, Nigeria. Those ones registered the name Fastest Cakes as a business at CAC, and they did this registration in April 2025, even though they had already been in business prior to that April 2025, but they were not registered, so they were just operating and doing the business on a low scale. The Fastest Cakes brand in Lagos that has already trademarked the name since 2021, they wanted to now expand their business from Lagos into Ibadan, only for them to find out that there was another Fastest Cakes brand operating in Ibadan. And because the Lagos brand, which had already trademarked it since 2021, knew that it had trademarked it since 2021, and the trademark law operates on a national scale. So it's, even though they trademarked, but they were just only operating in Lagos, they can still operate in anywhere in Nigeria. So it's the same thing with CAC registration, and that is why you can have multiple offices, branch offices in different states of the country with the same company name. So when they found out the Ibadan brand, and that Ibadan brand had registered with CAC, the Lagos brand went to file a complaint at CAC. And under the Companies and Allied Matters Act, once you can prove that you have already trademarked a name before CAC registered an entity, the CAC is bound by law to delist that name that it has registered. That is to remove the name, because the name is on the CAC list of companies. So CAC usually issue a notice to that entity that it previously registered, telling them to change their name in line with the provisions of CAMA. Here is where it gets interesting. Obviously, the Lagos brand did not register that name in CAC. So apparently they will be using another name. They trademarked the name Fastest Cakes, but apparently they didn't register it at CAC. Probably or most likely what they are using is a different company business name at CAC. This is why CAC was not able to register the name, because the name was free on the CAC database. But because the law, the Companies and Allied Matters Act, has already stated that if a name conflicts with an existing registered trademark, the name that was registered by CAC subsequently will be delisted. An interesting thing that this scenario brings or raises or poses is, let's say the facts changed a bit, and the brand in Ibadan was actually registered by CAC 20 years ago, but in 2021 the Lagos brand trademarked the name. They did not do a CAC registration in 2021, but they just only trademarked the name in 2021, probably unknown to them that the name was already registered earlier at CAC. This is where it becomes tricky, because the Companies and Allied Matters doesn't talk about this kind of scenario, because it talks about where there's a registered trademark. So it now gives you that interpretation that the trademark registration is superior to the CAC registration, because the law just says where there is an existing trademark and CAC has already registered the company, CAC will request that company to delist. So the law doesn't say if the CAC registration came first, it will be protected. So you see where lawyers begin to play around with the words of the law, where you look at loopholes and you plug into it. So based on this, on the face value of that section of the law, it gives the impression that trademark registration is still superior. However, the issue of trademark seems to have been really relegated to the background, unknown to people that trademark registration is very, very, especially, and these matters are coming out now more in open because people trying now to be smarter. But like I said, you're looking at the loopholes in the law and trying to be smarter and outsmart people. So this is a time and a call for people to ensure that they also undertake trademark registration of their names, of their symbols, of their mark, and of their slogans, because of the importance of trademark registration, and so that you don't have your business being overrun, your business identity is not being stolen or used inappropriately against you to disadvantage. But there's some good news even in the midst of this, and I will run us through another scenario that happened in the court to give you some kind of comfort that, okay, that not all hope is not lost, even if you have not your trademark registration, but you have registered your CAC, your business as CAC for years. And so in a judgment by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, which is the highest court in Nigeria, and by virtue of that, until this law is upturned by the Supreme Court itself, it stands to be the law in force currently. Let's assume that the Ibadan brand was not registered. Yes, actually the Ibadan brand was not trademarked. However, it was registered as CAC. Just that in that scenario, the CAC registration was even a later registration. But assuming that the CAC registration was an earlier registration, that means they started doing business way ahead, and so they are on but they have an unregistered trademark. However, it's their trademark. Then they started the business earlier, but they did not register the trademark. And then subsequently, the Lagos brand now registered the trademark and, of course, has that legal right to the trademark. Now, the Supreme Court in this case has said that in as much as the Ibadan brand didn't register the trademark, but they own the trademark because they've been using it way earlier, it will not be a defense for the Lagos brand to just say that that after all they have a registered trademark, though they started their own business, started using it much later. So registration is not just absolute anymore as it used to be. And you know that under our jurisdiction, the common law jurisdiction we practice in Nigeria, the cases decided by the courts are now law. So irrespective of what the law says, that yes, once you register a trademark, you have absolute rights to it. Whoever comes second will rank after you. But now the Supreme Court is saying that even though you are an unregistered trademark holder, and then somebody else now registers before you, but you started using the trademark after you, it's not a complete defense for the person to just brandish his trademark certificate and say he was registered and you are not registered. However, this doesn't mean that you should rest on your oars. You should just relax and just carry on with unregistered trademarks. So you need to take this issue of registering your trademarks very, very seriously, basically. So this brings us to the end of this video, and I hope you really got value from this video. Kindly comment. If you have any questions, you can put it in the comment section below. If you have any remarks, anything to share, anything you would like us to talk about, kindly put it in the comment section below, and subscribe to the channel, please. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, bye.